Hey, good morning. I have Jonah here, the communications coordinator for the town of Bennington. Good morning.
Good morning. Good to be here.
Now, Jonah was actually, you might not recognize him. Last time we spoke to you in our Bennington Battle Monument story, you were in traditional garb.
I was in 18th century garb, and I love the fact that my job lets me do that sometimes.
And now you are dressed like a true Bennington resident, correct?
Indeed, this is the official Vermont uniform, I guess. So there you have it.
Well, talk to me a little bit about, we have a lot of folks who are going to be watching who live in different parts of our viewing area. If they were to come to Bennington for a day, tell me a little bit about what they can really expect.
Well, my goodness. First of all, don't hesitate. Come sooner rather than later, and really start early in the morning. If you like the outdoors, if you're a trout fisherman, we have some world-class trout fishing streams right here in Bennington. So I'd say start your day early, catch yourself some beautiful trout, but then end up at one of our local diners. We have some very famous diners, including the Blue Bend Diner, which has been feeding folks here since the 50s. It's a classic American diner, but with a huge, extensive menu that you just would not expect in a traditional sort of diner setting. But don't stop there. Visit our downtown, which is still an authentic downtown with a lot of mom and pop owned businesses. And then from there, visit our cultural institutions. We have the Bennington Museum, which is one of the finest regional museums in our area, and obviously near and dear to our heart in this community because history is so intertwined with everything that we do here. I think I recall, maybe you showed the spot before I got on, talking about the Battle Monument and the Battle of Bennington. So of course, visit the Battle Monument, and while you're here, take a little trip to nearby New York where the Bennington battlefield was. But remember, even though it's called the Battle of Bennington, it wasn't fought in Bennington.
That's right.
Why? Well, because when Burgoyne sent Colonel Baum to invade the state of the newly minted state of Vermont, a republic, he knew that Bennington had supplies he needed for his attack on the colonies. What he didn't know was that General John Stark had joined the forces here in Bennington to oppose him, and he was a veteran of the French and Indian War. He was the hero of Bunker Hill. He was a formidable opponent, and he met the forces from Burgoyne at the place of his choosing, which was in nearby Williamsack, New York. Although I should mention, for 2 brief years in 1780 and 1781, Vermont annexed all of eastern New York up to the Hudson River. Sorry, guys. It didn't last, but for those 2 years, the Bennington battlefield was part of Vermont.
Yeah, Jonah, you have given me such a history lesson. In the last few days, I really feel like somewhere my high school history teacher is just smiling.
Aww.
Is that something you would say about this community? Is everyone is really in tune with what the history of this area really means to them?
Well, I think it's important for all of us to remember that history defines who we are today. It's not something that just existed in the past. Everything we do or say or believe in the present moment is directly influenced by our history. Here in our community, from almost any part of town, if you look up, you can see the Bennington Battle Monument. So we have a constant reminder for us. And again, history is alive and well just in the hometown feel and nature of our community as a whole. And I mentioned visiting the battlefield, but don't stop there. Come on back to Bennington. Make sure you have dinner at our restaurants in town. We also have a number of fine craft beer distilleries as well as a craft liquor distillery as well, complemented by restaurants. So it's really a great all-around experience.
So much to do, eat, play, hang, and make new friends. Now, you did mention our Bennington Battle Monument. We have a package. I think we're going to go ahead and revisit that right now.
Oh, great.
But before that, why don't we send it back to the studio? Thank you so much, Jonah.
My pleasure. Thank you for having us.
Thank you. Send it back to you.
Cassie,
Thanks, Cassie
I think
and
we're going to have
Jonah.
the story coming up in just a little bit. Of course, a lot more coming from Bennington, Vermont, so make sure you stay tuned for News 10 in your town.
They have been so welcoming to us, and when we get back, we're going to have Ryan Peterson joining us with 2 special guests. They're going to be from the Bennington Little League, talking about raising money for their indoor facility.